In this video, we're going to talk about the damper. So Concept 2 uses air impeller as their form of resistance or load on the machine. And to control that load, there's a damper on the inlet of the air impeller that restricts or allows airflow into the impeller. And you're actually pumping air. So it's like the impeller is just like the same thing like a pump. So you're opening and closing the inlet to pump more or less air through the impeller. Down at a 1, the damper is closed. There's less air pumping through the impeller, so it spins easier, and there's less restriction on the impeller. Up in the 10, damper's open. More air is allowed in the impeller to pump air, causing more restriction and more load. During the drive, an open impeller means there's more load on the drive. During the recovery, an open damper or a damper at 10 means the impeller slows down faster because it's still, as it's spinning, it's still sucking the air in, and the more air it sucks in and pumps, it will slow down faster. At a 1, during the drive, there's less air being pumped, which means that the impeller is pumping less, has less restriction and or less load, and is able to spin faster. The energy you put into moving the impeller, there's less restrictions, so the impeller speeds up faster acceleration, and during the recovery, there's less air restricting the flow, so it does not slow down. It stays at that fast speed, which is why when at a 10, between strokes at each catch, it feels like you're pulling more because you're pumping more air. During the recovery, the impeller slows down. You're next to 0 again, 0 RPMs, and you have to put all the energy into the handle to get that impeller moving again. So now with that, as there's it's easier, it's almost considered cheating to row with an open damper because you're not relying on yourself to maintain connection with the machine and to keep to be able to keep up with the impeller. The impeller slows down quickly, so it doesn't take as much energy, or it doesn't take as much effort to meet the speed of the slow impeller to be able to move faster and have a quicker drive and a quicker effort, or more. You actually need to apply less energy and less force in the machine to get the outcome that you're going for. At the damper that's low, or at 1, because the flywheel is moving so quickly, you need to move quickly to put effort into the machine to feel that you're actually doing something. That's why it feels like it's really light. But the thing is, if anything, rowing at a 1 is more challenging than rowing at a 10. Conditioning wise, and to be able to keep up with stuff, be able to keep up with, like, the workout. And you could see it on the monitor because your times are less effective. So the thing is also that because when you're rowing at a 10, there's more load because the damper's open. Over time, with the amount of volume that rowing is, a typical 2,000 meter row could be anywhere from 200 to 300 strokes in a 10-minute period, let's say 8 to 10-minute period. There's really no other exercise kind of a thing other than like a high volume. You want your high volume stuff to be low load. This way you're not wrecking your body. If someone's going to be rowing long duration at a 10, that's a high volume at a high load. That's a combination that's not good for long-term wellness and longevity. Rowing lower, anywhere from a 3 is what I recommend, 5 at most for longer rows, like a 2,000 meter row or anything 20-30 minute row, if that's what you're into. The longer distance for cardio, wellness, longevity, don't row to a 10. Anywhere from a 3 to a 5 is best for longevity and wellness. Rowing at a 1 is most challenging because you have to keep up with that fast moving flywheel to actually put any kind of output into the machine for effectiveness. And that's where the technique comes into play, where the lower the damper, you need more of the technique. The higher the damper, you just need more sheer ox or force. It's just not as refined, and it's most likely long-term wise, with the amount of volume that rowing puts on your body, volume wise, it will cause more harm than good. So typically damper, I would say at a 3. I personally rowed a 3. To me, it's what it feels most like rowing on the water. The boat or the shell is engineered and designed to have as little water resistance as possible. This way, all the energy you put into it, all of it goes into speed, and none of it goes into the restriction or the resistance of the water. To me, a 3 feels most like on the water rowing. Sometimes, like if I want to do my high load workouts, are at a 5. I don't row above a 5 for any reason whatsoever.